Hello, guys. Good morning. Happy coffee talk. Coffee this morning's in my Tree Star mug, and I'm drinking Wicked Wolf coffee. I keep buying it. I'm on a coffee Wicked Wolf kick. I know forever I drank Black Rifle, but I'm definitely into the Wicked Wolf now. Before we dive into the episode today, I do want to tell you about our podcast sponsor. So if I haven't told you before, Cured Nutrition is my very first ever brand affiliation. So I've been hit up for years to do different kinds of brand affiliations, whether it's clothes or whether it's supplements or whatever. And I've said no to them all because at the end of the day, I wanted to only tell you about stuff that I actually use or that I like or that I felt really, really aligned with. And that's what this is. And so that's why it's the very first one. But as you may or may not know, I've had 10 knee surgeries. So quite a few knee surgeries. So I actually manage chronic pain, like arthritis pain in my knee. And so for many years now, I've used CBD to go to sleep. It helps take the edge off the pain because I really don't like taking like Motrin or anti-inflammatories because unless I really need it, because they kind of mess up with your gut health and they're just not great for you. So I'll take it if I really need it. But for the most part, I just need something to sort of like ease that like dull ache pain just enough so that I can go to sleep. So anyways, I've been taking CBD for years now, and about a year and a half ago, I got turned on to Cured Nutrition's, sleep products, and I really love them. And so they do have a gummy that is a CBD gummy that I take before bed, but they also have some sleep formulas that I really love. I like their morning wake up stuff. I use it every day. It's called Rise, and they even have a drink called Euphoria that I really like. And it's kind of like a tiny amount of sort of like the nootropic mushrooms that help your brain focus and sort of alternative to caffeine. So anyways, I'm a huge fan. And so if you are somebody who has some like chronic joint pain, maybe try out their sleep formulas for that. I'll put the link in the show notes, in the bio, and all the places. But I really like it. It's natural stuff. It's good. It's like a great alternative to using like Motrin or other painkillers. And if you struggle with sleep, and not even just from pain, but maybe you're just having like interrupted sleep, that they have a full sleep situation, and I definitely recommend checking it out. So check out Cured. Thank you for being our podcast sponsor. Today's 4th of July. Yay, right? I don't know when you listen to this, but it is 4th of July. And it looks like it's going to be sunny and beautiful out. And so I was thinking about holidays, and yesterday I was doing a couple check-ins with clients, and almost all of them have some sort of 4th of July party today. So that kind of what inspired what I thought I would talk about on this episode, which is like managing sort of like life parties. One of the things I don't like out of the fitness space. Okay, so it's not even just like the diet space, but the fitness space is this idea of, managing your parties by taking food with you. I'm not saying that that's never a solution. And here's the cases in which I think this could be reasonable. Okay, so if you are a professional athlete, and I would call you a professional as in like you are an adult that maybe you don't play in the NFL or something, but like the thing that you do is one of your like top 3. So you are into weightlifting, maybe you're into marathon running, maybe you're into bodybuilding. You are an athlete and your sport is part of your most important life priorities. In that case, bringing food to a party might make sense because you have prioritized your sport to the top of the list, right? So if you need to pack something so that you can make weight, if you need to like not have certain foods, to me that makes sense. Other time it makes sense to bring food to parties is if you have a dietary restriction and you're going to go there and there's only going to be gluten, there's only going to be dairy, and you can't eat it. It will inflame you. You will feel like crap for weeks. You're just not going to feel good. That's another good reason to bring food. I think also, yeah, those are the two, honestly. And here's why I say this, because a lot of times you go online and they're like, here's what you do when you have parties. You like pack your stuff in containers and you bring it and you bring yourself a little travel food scale and all that stuff. Those are things for professional bodybuilders. They are the ones that are doing that. And that's not bad because, again, their sport at the highest top of their list, they are losing body fat for their sport. That is the game that they're playing. But you're playing a different game. Your game is called life. And so the reason that I'm always hesitant for my clients to use that sort of strategy for parties is because you have an ongoing life situation that you got to figure out. And if you don't know how to have balance in moderation and be able to handle yourself at social settings, you're never going to. And so, yeah, you can, maybe you're like really focused on weight loss right now and you're like, I'm not doing anything at that party. I'm just going to bring everything. I'm going to bring everything and I'm not going to eat it. Well, then what are you going to do the next time? What are you going to do the next time when you're not specifically focused on weight loss and you're be a little bit more loose? You're going to go crazy because you didn't practice having like a reasonable approach to having a party. And so I actually think these opportunities that some people would think are challenges or negatives are actually probably positives. Because if you approach it like, oh man, I've got a 4th of July party and I've been really on point, like I've been doing my walking, I've been doing my lifting, and then now I'm going to go to this party and it's all going to get messed up because I've been eating, all the things that I'm supposed to eat. And I've been avoiding all the things I'm supposed to avoid. And now I'm going to go to the party and it's going to be all messed up. Well, that's the one way to approach it. But the other way to approach it is like, okay, well, this is an opportunity to learn how to have a little bit of treat and enjoy myself, but not go overboard and then just get right back on track tomorrow, because that's the muscle that we need to flex. I heard this really cool thing yesterday that it was like, how do you build a muscle? Like you do repetitions of that same thing over time with increasing load, which I thought was so cool because it's like very applicable to life. So if you're going to to grow the muscle of being able to be at social situations, you're going to need to do repetitions of that. You're going to need to go to social situations and be able to handle yourself and eat the things that you're, want to eat and avoid the things you want to avoid and not overdo it and then get back on track tomorrow. And what I just described is almost exactly the approach that I use with my clients. So I'll literally say to them, okay, you're going to this party tomorrow. You already know there's going to be some things there. What are you really excited about having? And maybe they say like, hey, I'm just super pumped to have like a couple beers by the river. Or like, hey, I just am so excited for like my parents make this ice cream thing and I love it and I cannot wait for it. Like, I'm super excited about that. Or, hey, we're going to the fair and I can't wait to like have popcorn and blah, blah, blah with the kids. So I ask, what are you excited about? They list off those things. Cool. Like those things get to be a part of your fun day. Those are part of the life that you want, and they are certainly not going to make you gain pounds of weight. So enjoy those things. What are the things that are at the party that you will just mindlessly eat that you're not that excited about? And then I have my client list off those things. So maybe it's chips. Maybe it is, like a never-ending cheese platter. Maybe it is, those stupid hot dogs rolled up with like a pig in the blanket kind of thing. And you're like, I just eat those, but I don't even like them. They're just fine. And so I'm like, okay, those are the things we're not having, right? Because you're not even excited about them. So why are you going to stuff yourself full of that? And then it's like, okay, well, what are the things that are probably going to be pushed on you that are going to be a big trade-off, right? So what I mean by that typically is dessert and alcohol are usually the pusher foods. But I like to think through those situations too. Okay, so probably if I'm not drinking something because I want to like stay on track and I want to work out tomorrow morning, then some people are going to be like, hey, why aren't you drinking? So I have a feeling that's coming. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring 2 of my favorite, insert whatever you want to put in your cooler. And then I'm going to pack a bunch of sparkly water because then I have that to drink. And then nobody's going to be like, why don't you have anything? And so then you're planning in advance. Hey, I brought 2 of my favorites. I'm having those. I don't need 17 margaritas or, all the beer, because I'm happy with these things that I brought. Because again, the trade-off is, it's not that you can't have those. If you're super excited about having all the beer, maybe that's the thing that you're excited about. But if you're like, I'm not even that into it, and I know it's a trade-off, I do want to work out in the morning, I really don't want to feel like crap, so I don't really want to drink, well, then don't drink. But if you want to have 1 or 2, then go ahead. Just plan for that. Just be proactive. If you go to the party starving with no drinks and no plan, it's going to be a disaster. And by disaster, I mean, it's still fine because you can pick it up tomorrow morning, but mentally it's going to feel bad and physically it's going to feel bad. It doesn't have to be that way. The game plan that I just described to you is how you approach parties forever. Not for a diet, not for forever. Why would we go to a party and just mindlessly eat crap you don't even like? That's like a good life strategy, not just like a good weight loss strategy. Don't go to parties and mindlessly eat crap you like. And guess what? If you only have parties sometimes, you should be able to go and enjoy some special treats and not have it impact your overall goals, because you're pretty much eating really well and in line with your goals the rest of the time. And you're exercising and you're walking and you're lifting, and you're doing the things. So who cares if you want to have a special treat dessert on 4th of July? Does not matter. It's absolutely relevant to your goals. And so you should be able to do that. And then guess what? Practicing boundaries around the things that you actually really don't want to do. So if you're like, I really don't want to drink, and everybody's going to be like pushing on me, well, guess what? Show up with your own thing, be proactive, and assert yourself. I'm not in the mood for drinking today because I'm going to get up and run tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. And if I drink tonight, then I'll want to sleep in and I won't want to do it. That's totally cool. You are just advocating for yourself and what you want. But it does help if you are proactive and show up with, other things, because sometimes it's pushers and sometimes it's just people wanting to include you, which is cool. Like, that's nice of them. But if you show up with something that you brought, then they're going to be way less likely to feel like you're excluded, and they're not going to be so pushy, right? So I think this strategy of approaching holidays, whether it's 4th of July or whether it's, girls' night out, or whether it's, holidays like around Christmas and New Year's, this is the strategy. So unless you're a professional athlete, and you can be a grown-ass adult who wants to be a like recreational professional athlete. And again, by professional, I mean you're putting it in your like top 3. It's just as important to you as your work. It might be your work. It is your thing. Then that is one thing. By all means, pack your food. That is your priority. And if you have dietary restrictions, by all means, pack your food. That is 100% reasonable. But if you are just trying to live your life and you think that by avoiding the party, by packing your food, it's kicking the can. Like, you might get away with it right now, but it's not actually helping you, teach you any skills that you need to be able to do this long term. And you need those skills. And you're probably feeling guilty and like you're missing out, or you're being weird or whatever, because again, you're just doing it to lose weight, which is fine. But on the other hand, like, it would be better to approach the party with a couple other strategies, because then those are going to be your life strategies. You're not doing something for like a short-term diet. Oh, I can't eat. I'm here, but I can't eat. As opposed to like, nah, I'm not going to have that over there, but I'm really pumped about that. That's life right there. And so there are a couple other things that help with parties. If you go in starving, that's going to be much harder. So I always recommend, like, if you have an afternoon party, eat a really good breakfast, like a really solid, like, Fit Me plate, protein-based breakfast. Eat a good, solid protein-based lunch, Make sure you're hydrated going in. Those things can be really helpful. The other thing is, if it's like a potluck style party, then bring something that you actually want to eat. And typically, if you're thinking ahead, you know that there's going to be like lots of carbs there probably, and lots of fat, and maybe not a lot of protein. So it wouldn't hurt to bring like the skewers with the meat, then you're actually giving yourself a couple options, and at the same time sharing it with the party. Or bring the veggie tray, or bring a really good salad that you're pumped about, because again, like, then you're giving yourself that option, but at the same time you're sharing it with other people. And if they don't eat it, cool, whatever, take it home. So this is just a couple thoughts for parties. I know you might have some today. You might even listen to this tomorrow or the next day or 2 weeks or in a month from now, but you're going to have parties again. So this is a relevant episode no matter what. So hopefully this was helpful. Thanks as always for plugging into Coffee Talk. If you haven't joined our walking challenge, it's time to do it, because guess what? Walking is a key part of creating a healthy lifestyle. So if you are telling me that you want to have a healthy and fit body, that you want to not have a bunch of extra body fat, that you want to feel good in your joints and in your skin, then you got to be walking. And so sign up for the free walking challenge. It's really fun. A bunch of us are doing it. I think 90 something of us are signed up so far. So it's really fun. And again, totally free. So jump into the walking challenge. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to Fit Me Coffee Talk on your favorite podcast platform. If you're not a part of our Facebook group, go to Facebook, search Fit Me Community, request to join the group, and I will add you there. Talk to you soon. Bye.